From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, August 30th. Some scattered rain and storms started our Tuesday, obviously, but we're drying out already. By the lunch hour, it should shape up to then be a really nice day. A great evening commute. Highs are set to be slightly cooler with numbers in the low to mid 80s. Humidity values are going to be high this morning, but then by the time later on tonight, it'll be much more comfortable and less humid air will come in. Mayor Joe Hogsett tells IT-Mate that the city is doing everything it can to make downtown safe. We've learned new details in the shooting of the 3 Dutch soldiers. Just after daybreak yesterday, the Marion County coroner identified the soldier who died as Simi Poetsema. The Dutch Defense Ministry says the other 2 soldiers are able to talk and respond to questions. IT-Mate learned the soldiers got into a fight on South Meridian Saturday night, de-escalated it, then returned to their hotel. Hogsett told IT-Mate that the suspects then drove by and shot the soldiers outside the hotel. IMPD says detectives are following leads, though haven't released any other details. Police say they're working with U.S. and Dutch agencies to coordinate family members coming to Indianapolis and returning the victims to the Netherlands. A teenager wounded in a shooting early Monday has now died. We first told you about the shooting near 23rd and Ritter as breaking news yesterday on daybreak. IMPD says that officers found the victim in a car in critical condition and he died at the hospital. Police haven't released his name or age or announced any arrests. The shooting capped a violent few hours in Indianapolis. The Marion County prosecutor is blaming new gun rules for some of the problems. In a new statement, Ryan Mears writes in part, "We forewarned the consequences that would come from having more guns on our streets as a result of the permitless carry legislation, and we are witnessing the ramifications of that action on a far too frequent basis." He continues, "As a community, we must do our part to combat gun violence and address the issues that lead to it." And police in Oregon say the victim of a grocery store shooting likely saved lives before he died. Officers hailed Army veteran Donald Surratt Jr. a hero yesterday. Police say he and a customer died Sunday evening when a gunman opened fire inside a Safeway in Bend, Oregon. Police say Surratt tried to disarm the shooter before the shooter killed himself. Police in Arizona say a gunman armed with tactical gear opened fire at a motel there Sunday evening. According to police, the suspect killed 2 people and wounded 5 others, including 2 officers, before taking his own life. Officials say 4 of the victims have been released from the hospital. 1 officer remains hospitalized but is said to be stable. President Biden talks crime prevention in a visit to Pennsylvania. The White House says he'll push for a new ban on assault-style weapons. When Biden was a senator, he led the move to temporarily outlaw sales of such weapons and now wants to reestablish the ban permanently. Pennsylvania is getting a lot of attention from national Democrats and Republicans because voters there will choose both a senator and a governor in the November election. The district attorney in Atlanta, Georgia, wants a court to force Senator Lindsey Graham to testify. A new filing asks the court to order him to appear as part of the investigation into efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Graham is fighting the subpoena, saying calls he made to election officials in Georgia were part of his job as chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee. He also says the Constitution's speech of debate clause protects him. A man accused of being one of the first to breach the Capitol during the January 6th riot is headed to jail. A judge sentenced Joshua Pruitt to 4 years and 7 months yesterday. Pruitt pleaded guilty in June to obstructing an official. Now, at the time of the insurrection, Pruitt was a Proud Boy recruit who became an official member on President Biden's Inauguration Day. Prosecutors say in the days leading up to the insurrection, Pruitt was part of a group message discussing plans to march to the Capitol and use violence. The Department of Justice says it identified a limited set of materials recovered from Mar-a-Lago that are potentially protected through attorney-client privilege. Officials say they're now combing through the documents looking for classified information. Former President Trump has asked for a special master to oversee the review. A judge has said she did have preliminary intent to do just that. A hearing to decide on a special master is set for Thursday in Florida. Governor Holcomb is temporarily suspending some fuel rules to prevent shortages. It's a response to the problems that have halted refining at the BP plant in Whiting. Holcomb's office says he signed an executive order suspending vapor pressure requirements and service hour restrictions for motor carriers. Said more simply, gas stations don't have to use summer blend gas for now, and drivers can be on the road longer. The moves echo a similar federal order from the EPA late last week. The decision to call off the launch came after problems with weather, fueling, and one of the engines when it comes to Artisan 1. Administrator Bill Nelson says wave-offs are common and pointed to the 1986 shuttle mission that he was on. NASA scrubbed that launch 4 times before finally taking off. Many of the systems in Artemis 1 have never been to space, so we want to make sure everything is absolutely as perfect as possible before this launch takes off. NASA says the next chance for liftoff is a 2-hour window Friday afternoon. That window opens at 12:48. To business headlines now, State Farm is slammed by the rising theft of catalytic converters. It's already paid out more than $50 million on the pricey auto parts so far this year. Platinum, palladium, and rhodium are metals commonly found in the auto part. Thieves can make $300 to $1,500 for selling converters for scrap. A new paper says Fed rate hikes won't bring down inflation as long as government spending stays high. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University and the Chicago Fed wrote without constraints in fiscal spending, rate hikes will make the cost of debt more expensive and drive inflation expectations higher. Federal debt is running at around 123% of gross domestic product, well above anything seen going back to at least 1946. School districts in Texas, California, and New York are creating full-time remote learning this fall for the first time. A 2021 survey of 291 U.S. school districts by Rand Corp found a surge in the number that offered virtual schools for students compared with 3% before the pandemic. The virtual option might be appropriate for about 4% of students who suffer from social anxiety or whose families may be moving. Interest in camping soared in the pandemic, and now as social distancing restrictions are winding down, the sector is showing signs that it may maintain its popularity. The global market for camping and caravanning is expected to grow 6.6% from 2020 to 2025, according to Research and Markets. And the number of RVs shipped in 2021 jumped a record 39% from the previous year. And Starbucks Pumpkin Spice Latte makes its annual debut today. There are a few other fall favorites. The Pumpkin Cream Cold Brew will also be returning this year, along with the Apple Crisp Macchiato. The PSL will be 50 cents more, $5.95 a cup. A group in New York wants Live Golf to stay away from the city. 9/11 Justice is asking the mayor to pull the okay for a tournament from the series in October. The group doesn't want Live Golf to be welcomed because the Saudi Arabian government funds the series. The group says the location and timing of the tournament, 1 month after the 9/11 anniversary, is egregious, in your face, and tone deaf. The office of Mayor Eric Adams says he cannot legally prevent the tournament from happening. Primetime football returns to West Lafayette soon. Purdue hosts Penn State Thursday night to kick off the college football season. The Boilermakers are moving forward without star receiver David Bell, who went to the NFL. And to the Colts, the team says it's officially now sold out 3 games this home season. The Week 3 matchup against the Chiefs, Week 4 against the Titans, and Week 12 against the Steelers games have all been sold out from single game tickets. The Colts have a big event set for its home opener against the Chiefs. Country music star and Indiana native Clayton Anderson will headline the home opener concert. He'll be joined by special guest, the Red Clay Strays. All the fun begins at 10 in the morning on September 25th outside Lucas Oil Stadium. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.